Hey all, welcome back to Directionally Speaking. We're here with another episode to talk about another team in the Velocity Accelerator this year. I'm joined by Bruce from RiteCarbs, and he'll tell you a little bit more about what he and the RiteCarbs team are doing. Bruce, will you introduce yourself and RiteCarbs?
Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, I'm Bruce Hamaker. I'm a professor at Purdue University, and we have a small startup company, RiteCarbs. As Jeff said, we have four members. We're out of two of us are at Purdue University. We're in the Department of Food Science, and and I'll introduce the others. The other person is at Rush Medical School. He's a gastroenterologist, and then we have a business developer out in Delaware. And the purpose of our company is in the area of precision prebiotics. That's food for the gut microbiota, and prebiotics that have targeted function related to health, right? So really what we're after is fast-acting prebiotics. We have the knowledge, kind of the know-how to do that, we get an intense response with the prebiotics, and we lower inflammation in a short period of time in the gut, both in the gut and systemic inflammation. So, and the one other thing that is in our products is that we have prebiotics that work across individuals in the same way. That's important in the area of prebiotics.
Yes, it is. And Bruce, we're so thankful that you and the team are part of this Velocity cohort. You know, prebiotics is something that is kind of a hot button topic. You know, we hear a lot about prebiotics, probiotics, all of those things on the market. You know, without divulging too much, like what kind of thing are you guys seeing with the work that you've done, both in the lab, but now as you're headed towards commercialization, that kind of set RiteCarbs apart from others that may be on the market already?
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. So, yeah, we have clinical data for one thing that, well, first of all, we've designed mixtures of dietary fibers that support important groups of bacteria in your colon, and or what we term the gut, right? And that those mixtures, as I said, they have those kind of fast-acting, intense kind of responses. And we have clinical data from Rush Medical School, our partner up there, and his colleagues in Parkinson's disease. In 10 days, lowered both local gut inflammation as well as a biomarker for brain inflammation. And inflammation in Parkinson's and other neurodegenerative diseases is correlated with those diseases. So even backing out of that, though, we look to for our prebiotics to have a general effect in improving gut health by keeping the inflammation down, and what's called good barrier function, good kind of separation between the gut and the system of the body.
Yeah, Bruce. I mean, that's so exciting. And so, like, let's take it even a layer lower. So, for the layperson like me, you know, it sounds like reducing inflammation is a good thing in general, whether I have a chronic disease or something along those lines or not.
Yeah.
Are those benefits going to pass on to anybody who potentially gets to use a RiteCarbs product?
Yeah, really, that's the point that we've come up with prebiotics, what we call precision or targeted prebiotics that work in basically everybody, and they're just food. You know, they're just dietary fiber, but they have a very specific kind of function. And even though you may not have gut inflammation, but it would keep a very good gut community in balance, put it that way. But a lot of us even have kind of inflammation, low-grade inflammation that we don't know about that's related to a number of different diseases and health conditions, even including things like diabetes. So it's not just specific to, like I was talking, Parkinson's disease.
Absolutely. But the fact that you guys can impact a wide variety of people in a wide variety of states is really exciting and encouraging. Let's pivot for a second away from the business in general, and let's talk a little bit about you and the team's entrepreneurial journey. How have you guys always been? You're coming out of academia, but have you always been entrepreneurial and wanted to build company and commercialize technology, or is this something relatively new? Tell us a little bit about that journey down this path of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I got into this area of research and this field because I felt like it fit me very well with my desire to have impact, out of research. And so I think there's a kind of a natural then connection with doing work in applied science, but that has a fundamental part to it, right? But that goes all the way to the idea of commercialization. And so we've, I wouldn't say always had the idea of starting a company, but this is our second one. We had another one, which was called Nutribiotics, and we got funding for that, and that was in the 2010s, the teens.
Okay. Yeah.
Early teens, and I think we were a little bit early, and we didn't have as good materials, good products as we do now. I think that can really reach the consumer, but it has been in our thinking that long.
I love that. I love that. And one other point to ask about, because we have lots of folks that are either student entrepreneurs or researchers, folks in the university system that may have ideas, but maybe haven't gotten as far down this path as you. Do you have any advice for those people when it comes to like bringing tech from an academic setting? What has made that move to commercialization happen for you that they could potentially learn from?
Yeah, I think a lot of times, well, it's a kind of an incorporation of, I would say, I don't know, in my mind it's kind of simple ideas that could reach the consumer but be beneficial and have impact, right? And I think that kind of thinking and research, how does it apply? What's the more simple message, which professors aren't that good at always giving, including myself.
Yeah.
But I think that is something that I would say is helpful to do when you're doing academic research.
For sure. Well, and I have to give you a shout out, Bruce, you and the team. You guys have brought together a cross-functional group to kind of complement each other's strengths and weaknesses, which I think is a level up for you. I'm not sure, you at the end of the day are still a Midwestern entrepreneur, so it's not easy to brag on yourself. So I'll brag for you that I also think that's something that folks can learn from, because you've brought this great team together to do this at RiteCarbs.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Really, collaboration has always been, since I started research at the university, collaboration's been kind of the name of the game, because there's big problems out there to be solved, and you have to have a group that can do it, interdisciplinary group that can do it.
That's right. Okay, so we'll ask a question on the entrepreneur side. What has been like one or two challenges that you've come across on this, or even the last journey, that has been kind of foundational for you, that has you've been able to learn from? What would be one or two of those challenges that you've run up against on this entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's I guess a couple things come to mind. It's a challenge, again, coming out of academic research, to really bring the mind down to those things that can work commercially, that have the potential to work commercially, and then to communicate that in a clear way to a broad spectrum of people. And that's I'd say a continual challenge that we're always working on. And in the Velocity Accelerator, we ask you about this, Jeff, and you have great guidance in that way. And then another, in financing area, I mean, of course, that's a challenge. I think it's a challenge with everybody. Mm-hmm. You go through with some potential investors or partners, and you go down. You can spend even some months with one group, but not get it. So, that's just what happens. And I think, as a friend of mine, entrepreneur friend of mine, says, you only need one, right? You only need one investor or one partner, and you just have to keep optimistic, and you have to keep pushing it.
Yes, 100%. And it just takes one, that first domino to fall, and then others fall in line.
Yeah.
Bruce, let's circle back to RiteCarbs one last time. You guys are headed toward commercialization. Hopefully we'll have product in market in the relatively near future. Can you tell the audience a little bit about what those form factors are that you guys plan to bring to market, and how that will look on the first run of getting out there into the market?
Yeah, thanks. We've been working on. We originally had a bar, like in that clinical study, and we've now done 4 clinical studies. But anyway, just to talk about that one, we used a bar format, like a power bar or something like that. Sure. That's a possibility. I think that we still think that that's one good product type to go with. But another one that we've developed is a smoothie shot. It's berry flavored. It has a little bit of viscosity to keep the fiber into suspension, right? Mm-hmm. And it's in the shot form, so it's about that big. It's similar to those probiotic shots you see in the cold case in the grocery store, but this would be shelf stable. Sure. And so right now we're thinking of those 2.
Love it. Bruce, you already kind of teed this next question up, because we can't ask for the one thing that we really might need. We've learned from our legal partners we don't make public asks for investment, so we can't do that. But you've got a group of people listening to this that range anywhere from other entrepreneurs and startups to corporations, or maybe even food manufacturers, or people who might be partners in the long run. If they're listening to this, how can they plug in and help RiteCarbs at the current moment? What things are you looking for that we may be able to make some connections by people that are listening to this podcast?
Yeah, thanks. We're looking for seed money, at this stage. Not pre-seed, we're past that, but seed money to get us into the market with our first products. I mean, that's the main thing that we're after. And we've talked and are in talks, I guess, with both investors as well as in the way of venture capital people, or that type of investor, or a partner like an ingredient company. So I'd say, Jeff, that we're flexible and thinking about different ways that we can, get to market.
Bruce, thank you so much for the time today. Thanks for having this chat. Also, thank you and the team for being part of Velocity this year. It's been such an honor. If you are watching this before June 18th, 2025, then join us on June 18th for the final demo day. Bruce and the team will be there. And if you want to reach out to RiteCarbs and learn more about how you can get plugged in, there will be contact information in the show notes of this podcast. Bruce, thank you for your time. Audience, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you all at the next one.
Thank you so much, Jeff.